who is zakat given to? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explicitly mentions 8 categories of zakat, and these are found in the Quran in Surah Tawbah, and these 8 categories are essentially the only categories that zakat can be given to. Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. Sadaqah or charity is given to the faqir and the miskin. Faqir and miskin, there's a slight difference between the two. Faqir is somebody who has absolutely nothing, and miskeen is somebody who has something but not enough to live by. So if somebody doesn't even have a house they're living in, this is like a faqir. And if somebody has a house, for example, but they have so many debts, or they cannot provide for their children in a reasonable manner, then this is miskeen. And so zakat is given to those who are struggling and they're not able to provide a reasonable amount of living for their family. Now again, this goes to Islamic law, what and who gets to define reasonable, and you may ask your local authorities, your local ulama and scholars whom you look up to, that what is the definition of reasonable, or what is the minimal that is required in order for a person to be zakat eligible. So Allah says zakat can be given to the faqir and the miskin. And then He says number 3, and those who are working for it. Now once upon a time, the Khilafah, the Caliphate had a zakat department. And so there are people, they go and they collect zakat and they distribute it. These people need a salary. So Allah says those people can be paid their salaries from the zakat money. So that's category number 3. وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا. Number 4 is مُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُم. And this is given to people whose danger we fear, whose hearts need to be reconciled, and that's something that the Khalifa can do. It's not done on an individual level. Me and you, we don't decide category 4 whatsoever. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, for the freeing of slaves, and there are no slaves to be freed, so that is not an issue. وَالْغَارِمِينَ, that this is those that are in severe debt for specific reasons. Again, by and large, these are not relevant. And وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, those that are doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those that are lost, the wayfarers, the travelers who are cut off from their sources of income. By and large, in other words, brothers and sisters, for most average Muslims, zakat is given to the first 2 categories. That's really what we need to worry about. The other 6, by and large, are not really relevant for the average Muslim, the general rule. And so we find people who are faqir and miskeen. And essentially, those people that are struggling for food, for their children, for themselves, those people who don't have even what we would call the minimal acceptable existence really in their societies and cultures, they may be given zakat. Zakat can be given to blood relatives that are not your descendants or ascendants. So you can give zakat to your cousins, your uncles and aunts, your extended family, but you cannot give zakat. I repeat, you cannot give zakat to your mother and father, or to your son and daughter, or to your wife, because you are obliged to take care of your mother and father and your son and daughter and your wife. These are obligatory. It is not zakat. Zakat cannot be given to your parents, to your children, or to your wife. But you may give zakat to extended family. And generally speaking, and again, there are exceptions. So for all of these rules, make sure you ask a scholar. But generally speaking, you may give zakat to your siblings and your cousins and your uncles and aunts. This would be permissible if they are zakat eligible, if they are in such poverty that they need to be given zakat.